My son lied to his teacher and got me arrested. The call came at 2 a.m., jolting me from restless sleep. The harsh ring cut through darkness like a knife. Police. My heart dropped as the officer's voice delivered each word like a physical blow. Ma'am, we need you to come to the station immediately. It's about your son, Dylan. My hands trembled as I threw on clothes, mind racing through every possible scenario. The 20-minute drive felt like an eternity, knuckles white against the steering wheel. At the station, Detective Martinez led me into a sterile interrogation room that smelled of stale coffee and disinfectant. Under harsh fluorescent lights, he showed me Dylan's drawing, 2 stick figures in crayon, one standing upright labeled me, the other lying horizontal labeled Jake. But Jake had X's for eyes and was positioned in what looked like a dark underground room, surrounded by brown scribbles that could have been dirt or worse. Your son came to school this morning crying hysterically, Detective Martinez explained, his weathered face grave. He told his teacher that you've been hiding his twin brother's body in your basement. He was so distraught that Mrs. Peterson called us immediately. He says you told him Jake was sleeping forever and he could never tell anyone. The detective continued, studying my face for any flicker of guilt. That's impossible, I whispered, my voice barely audible. The walls felt like they were closing in. Dylan described bruises, ma'am. Dark marks on Jake's arms and neck. Said you carried him downstairs wrapped in his favorite dinosaur blanket, the blue one with the T-Rex pattern. He's been having nightmares for weeks, waking up screaming about monsters in the basement. The detective slid another drawing across the table. This one showed a woman with long dark hair, clearly me, carrying a smaller figure downstairs. The basement was drawn in heavy black crayon, like a gaping mouth. My mind raced through the past month. Dylan had been asking about Jake constantly, tears streaming down his face, wondering when his twin would come home. He'd been crying at night, refusing to go near the basement door, sometimes standing at the top of stairs just staring into darkness. I thought he simply missed his brother, who'd been staying with my ex-husband following our contentious custody arrangement. The social worker arrived 30 minutes later. Dylan's story is very detailed and consistent, she explained. He said Jake stopped moving after you gave him sleepy medicine, and that's when you took him downstairs. He described watching you from the top of the stairs, too scared to follow. Her words hit like physical blows. The idea that my child could be terrified of me was unbearable. They searched our house with cadaver dogs that sniffed every corner of our basement. Found nothing except storage boxes, dusty furniture, and dampness. No body, no evidence. But Dylan kept insisting, describing exactly how I'd carried Jake down those wooden steps, his little arms dangling lifelessly. Where is Jake now? Detective Martinez asked. I broke down sobbing. He's with his father. We divorced 6 months ago. The boys switched between houses, but this month Jake wanted to stay with his dad longer because of their new puppy. He calls me every night. They called my ex-husband immediately. Jake answered himself, his voice bright and confused about why police wanted to talk to him about whether he was alive. That's when we realized the horrifying truth. Dylan had witnessed me carrying his unconscious twin downstairs after Jake had taken too much children's Benadryl during a severe sleepwalking episode 3 months ago. I'd found Jake in the bathroom at 3 a.m., having consumed nearly half a bottle. I'd panicked, called the emergency pediatric line, been told to monitor him overnight. In my terror, I'd whispered to Dylan that Jake was sleeping very deeply and couldn't wake up while carrying his limp form to the basement guest room. I'd taken Jake there because it was cooler and quieter while he recovered. Dylan had seen me wrapping his twin's limp body in that familiar blue dinosaur blanket, Jake's face pale and lifeless with medication in his system, chest barely rising with shallow breaths. To an 8-year-old who'd just experienced his parents' bitter divorce, watching me carry his twin's unconscious body downstairs while frantically whispering, he needs to sleep now, looked exactly like what he'd described with such terrifying accuracy. My son had been living in absolute terror for months, convinced I'd murdered his twin brother and would kill him next.